Across the United States, there are over 4,000 universities, each holding its own mysteries and secrets. Our team set out with one goal: research and document these mysteries. Here are our stories. We had heard word of a school full of bizarre and out-of-the-ordinary occurrences. This piqued our interest, so we headed to Northern Kentucky University, a medium-sized school just south of Cincinnati, Ohio. In the town of Highland Heights, Kentucky, Northern Kentucky University, or NKU for short, is home to a quaint, beautiful, and sometimes windy campus. On the outside, it looked like any other school, but never judge a book by its cover. As we began talking to people, we noticed the common theme of small but interesting myths which seemed to haunt the students. One of the more common things we heard was about an elevator supposedly being haunted and not going to where the student wanted to go. Perhaps an electrical malfunction or an unnatural phenomenon. On NKU's campus, there's a very small lake named Loch Norse. Home to an array of fish and a favorite of local wildlife, the loch is a great addition to the campus. However, recent reports of some type of unknown water creature have students and officials worried. We couldn't find anything ourselves, but the rumor remains. Next, we found ourselves outside the Science Building. An architectural masterpiece, this state-of-the-art building is home to a multitude of test tubes, dead specimens, and its fair share of myths. One of the most prevalent myths we came across was the story of Tommy and his gerbil. Tommy, a graduate student, supposedly had access to a lab in the science building which he used frequently to study and experiment. In his lab, he held his pet gerbil. As the story goes, one day Tommy was working on an experiment, studying the growth effects of certain cells in the gerbil's body when something went terribly wrong. Tommy had to go to the hospital and his gerbil was never found at the scene. Students' rumors spread that the gerbil had been seen in the basement of the science building, 3 times the size of what it once was. We, however, couldn't find any trace of the gerbil, but find it very eerie, especially the fact that the janitor supposedly finds oversized mouse droppings in the basement on a daily basis. This brings us to the Talking Lincoln. In front of a building near the center of campus, there's a statue, but not just any statue, a Lincoln statue. As students say, at night and sometimes during the day, if you walk by the statue, you can hear Lincoln whisper to you. We began doing research, and according to the records dating back to the 80s, witnesses reported hearing slurs and a faint cry and a very old voice in their ear when they would be near the statue at night. Whether real or not, a very interesting statue indeed. And now for our last and most interesting story, the Bagman. Perhaps the most popular myth on campus, Bagman is a man that runs around campus 1 time a week. A mysterious figure, the Bagman creeps students out and sometimes is seen staring mindlessly at people. Someone snapped a photo of the Bagman seen here. As the story goes, he used to be a student like everyone else. However, when exams of his freshman year came around, he went missing and wasn't seen again for 5 years. When he was seen again, he is constantly wearing a bag. Nobody knows where he lives or who exactly he is. But the Bagman scares and confuses students on a weekly basis. With this, we began doing research on where the Bagman was known to be seen and started setting up our equipment. Through planned and diligent effort, we were lucky enough to capture some footage of the Bagman in action. What you're about to see may disturb you. Viewer discretion is advised. The Bagman haunts NKU's campus, and perhaps it's time for someone to put a stop to him. But that isn't for us to decide, now is it? One thing is for sure, the Bagman shows no signs of stopping. NKU is an interesting place, a small, out-of-the-way campus with its fair share of myths and legends. We enjoyed our time there, and encourage anyone not scared enough to visit.